me give you mini reviews of all the books I read in May. A fictionalization of the women who were victims or affected by one of America's worst serial killers. This does a good job of showing these people as three-dimensional and the perpetrator as someone who was not clever, just allowed by a system that allows for white male privilege. I think it does what it sets out to do, but I don't know how long it'll stay with me. Conclusion to Divine Rivals, about two reporters in a fantasy World War era setting. The first third of this book had a lot of tension, but that went away as the book went on, and also a lot of the fantasy felt Deus Ex Machina. Science fiction about astronauts who are discovering new worlds light years away from Earth and only slowly getting updates on what's happening on Earth. This is not very focused on the plot or the characters, it's more about the bigger ideas, and I think you have to wait for the ending to really get the whole message. A violin teacher is collecting students to sell their souls so that she can play again, and finds a trans runaway to be her last student. This is the queer found family you're looking for. I think this does a very good job balancing tone between serious and sad and healing and hopefulness. A play from the 1950s about a Black family in Chicago who are having mounting pressures on them from their struggling life and money they're about to come into. I usually don't think a script is a great way to experience a play, but this script was so tightly written. Every single word has so much purpose, and each of these characters is so deeply developed. One of the best things I've read in a while. A YA thriller that is a take on Final Girls, as girls who have just graduated high school are vying for a rich family to be their benefactor. Somehow they made an eat the rich slasher be boring. A dystopian post-apocalyptic book that shows how capitalism has corrupted scientific pursuits. I really could not stand the perspective that this was written from, even though I liked the themes. A grandfather mourning his wife, a teenager who has a struggling home life, bond over finding a love for reading. I think it's weird that this book is like advertising some of the most popular books in the English language. Fourth book in the Thursday Murder Club. Drugs go missing and a person who had the drugs on them ends up dead. Personal plots going on in this book. This is one of the strongest in the series, but as far as the mystery goes, it wasn't my absolute favorite. An author ends up dead. We flip back and forth between the policeman and the best friend who discovered the body. It does not follow the normal format that we as English readers are used to, but I was pretty disconnected from the narrative, even when things surprised me. A princess comes into power and is having to work with the god of war to get more power for her country. Nothing about this worked for me at all. On her first day off of maternity leave, a woman finds out that her husband has suddenly taken hostages. The first part of this feels very tense, and then the last half of it feels slower and worked for me less. A retelling of Kaikeyi from the Ramayana, a queen who is trying to give more rights to women as she is raising a son who seems to be going down a dangerous path. Absolutely brilliant character study. It stands on its own, and it is just a wonderful story. What did you read in May?